Hi, I'm Tim Bartz, Internet Sales Manager at McArthur Ford, Salina, Kansas, your source for Ford news, update, and information, including your scheduling information on about every Tuesday. We haven't had scheduling the last couple of weeks, but some of the plants are scheduling this week. So we're going to go over which ones are or are not scheduling, and we'll go over all the little bits of information this week, and we'll cover that. So if you like videos like this or some of our other videos that we do on our YouTube channel, make sure you subscribe with that bell notification turned on so you don't miss any of our videos. So first off, we're going to start by talking about some of the terminologies on some of the stuff and what you can expect. So first time watching this video, please check out this terminology, and then we'll get into the scheduling of each model after that. Now, on this, what we're talking about here is when orders are scheduled, those orders are, or I should say, when people put deal orders in, they're put in the order bank. And that is where dealer places all their stock and their retail orders. Now, retail order, that is a customer placed order. That is, Ford knows that is going to be a sold order for that dealer for a particular customer that ordered it. Now, a stock order, that is an order that's placed by the dealer for their stock or their lot inventory, what they would have on their lots. The priority code, that's a priority that's given to orders by the dealers. So 03 through 19 is a retail order type, and 20 to 80 is a stock order type. Now, the lower the better, which is why retail orders are always looked at first, and an 03 will be looked at before a 19. Now, 19 is a default for retails, and 20 is a default for stock. Scheduling, that is when Ford schedules an order for production dates in future months. So that's kind of what we're talking about in this video. So production date, that is when Ford plans to build your vehicle. And first it'll get scheduled to the week, and as it gets closer, it'll get scheduled to the actual day. Now, allocations, that's a big one. Allocations is where Ford gives dealers allocations to schedule their orders. A dealer needs an allocation to get an order scheduled in the order bank. So a dealer earns those allocations based on their sales of each model within their region. So if a dealer doesn't have an allocation, they can't get an order scheduled. Just have an order in there is not good enough. Now, constraints, that's an option that may be in short supply or take longer to build. And that could be based on the next one, which is the capacity. That is the planned production rate of a given motor, trim, or option. So when the amount of orders is over the capacity, that's where we get that constraint where it might take longer to get scheduled or longer to build for that reason. Now, job 1 and 2, production does get split into different job runs. If they want a particular, maybe there's a cool feature or something they want to add, and it's not ready at the beginning of the model year, they'll go ahead and start it with job 1s and then reintroduce those into job 2. Or if they get a supply issue where they can't make something, they can make those changes for the second half of the year, and that's when you'll see that job 2 changes. Balance out, that's the end of production, or what they call the balance out a particular option or model usually we see that balance out at the end of a certain model year before switching over to the next model year. All right, so now we're going to go on over that. Let's go ahead and get into the different models. And most of these are not scheduled this week, but some of them aren't scheduling, but they do have some notes in them. So we'll go over those one by one here and kind of talk about that. First off is the 26 model year Mustang. So the order banks are open up for the Mustang. They are not scheduling this week, but a little note in here is the GT Performance Package will be available for unscheduled orders. It does say within the WebDo restriction lifted by the end of week to allow dealers to amend those orders. So for upcoming wholesale. Also does say in here, orders with the Vapor Blue metallic paint will not be scheduled, as this is not available at the moment until further notice. So if you have looking at that color, we'll let you know and keep you updated on that. Orders with the Night Pony package will not be scheduled, since the 19-inch by 8.5-inch ebony black paint aluminum wheel are not available at the moment until further notice as well. So a couple notes there on that. Now, they're not scheduling, but at least it lets you kind of know for next week, because it will probably start scheduling again next week. All right. Next up is a 26 model year Bronco Sport. Order banks are open up for the 26 model year. They are not scheduling this week, and they will start production, I believe, this week for 26 model year. So that's happening real soon here. Next up, 26 model year Bronco. Order banks are open up for those as well. They are starting production, I think, this week or next week for that. They are not scheduled this week either. Next up, 26 model year Mustang Mach-E. Order banks are open up for the Mach-E, and they are not scheduled this week. And they are starting production, I believe, next week as well at their plant for the 26 model year. Next up is a 26 model year Explorer. Order banks are open up for the Explorer. They are not scheduling this week either. They've already got everything for January, February already scheduled out. And that's all I have on the Explorer. Next up, 26 model year Expedition. Order banks are open up for the Expedition. They are not scheduled this week either. Again, just like with the others, they already have their January and February production planned out. So they're just at this point waiting for when they can start scheduling March. Next up, 26 model year Maverick. Order banks are open up for the Maverick for 26 model year, and they are not scheduling this week either. All right, next up, 26 model year Ranger. Order banks are open up for the Ranger, and they are not scheduling this week. Production for the 26 model year should start this week or next week for the Ranger, just like with the Bronco. All right, next up is the 26 model year Super Duty. Order banks are open up for the Super Duty, and they are scheduling this week. Kentucky is going to be scheduling for the weeks of January 26th to the weeks of February 9th. And at Ohio, they're going to be scheduling for the weeks of February 2nd through the weeks of February 16th. Limited availability for the F600. Also, the 20-inch chrome wheels. That's included in the chrome aluminum package option. That's package option 17C if you've added it to your order. Also, limited availability for the 10.5-inch axle. That's included in the single rear wheel F250s with the gas engines, as well as the 6.7 diesel engines. That's saying here included also in the single rear wheel F350s with the 7.3 liter gas engine. Also, limited availability for the Max recline seats. That's optional on the Lariat, King Ranch, and Platinum. Also, limited availability for the vinyl 40-20-40 split bench seat as well. And limited availability for the 176-inch wheelbase. That's going to be your crew cab long wheelbases with the dual wheels. Also, the 142-inch wheelbases, by the way, too, with the dual wheels. So you're going to find that on your regular cab F350s and your crew cab F350s. So, and then also the fifth wheel gooseneck hitch prep package is also limited availability as well. So that's what we have for Super Duty. Next up is the 26 model year F-150. Order banks are open up for the F-150, and they have started production for 26 model year. Start seeing some of those have arrived at some dealers. They are not scheduled this week. They will start scheduling probably back up again next week due to changing compliance regulations. 50 state emissions is not required on F-150 3.5 liter orders for California, Washington, Oregon, Massachusetts, Vermont, or New York. All right. Next up is the 26. Well, we're not going to talk about 26 model year F-150 Lightning. I keep saying this is the last week I'm going to talk about it. Order banks, as I say, they're open, but they are not. They are not going to be building any 26 model years. It does say in here, order bank closure is tentatively planned for today, actually, at the end of today. So by now, you've watched this video. Order banks have closed for 26 model year F-150. They're going to cancel all orders. They are not building any. So this is the last week we'll talk about it. For sure. I won't talk about it anymore. I promise. 26 model year Transit order banks are open up. They are scheduled this week for the weeks of February 2nd through the weeks of February 23rd. And does say in here limited availability for the 12 seat passenger configuration, as well as limited availability for the all-wheel drive version. No other notes there on Transit. So there you go. That is the scheduling information for this week, and that is just for this week for Thursday, January 8th. And of course, it looks like a lot of the plants have already planned out for their January, February production dates. Of course, at this point, they're waiting for those March production availability and scheduling and allocations. Dealers have received theirs. We went through our wholesale just the other day. Next week might be the startup for March production dates and scheduling for that. We'll know next week for sure. So we'll keep you posted on that and keep you updated. Until then, make sure you're subscribed with the bell notification turned on so you don't miss any of these videos. And stay positive. Be kind to one another. Be kind to yourself. And we'll see you guys on the next video. Thanks for watching.